If you can't be happy here, you won't be happy there. Now, many, if not all, of the great philosophers have come to this same conclusion, but there is a passage from Ralph Waldo Emerson that strikes me the most, and I will read that to you now. Traveling is a fool's paradise. Our first journeys discover to us the indifferences of places. At home, I dream that at Naples, at Rome, I can be intoxicated with beauty and lose my sadness. I pack my trunk, embrace my friends, embark on the sea, and at last wake up in Naples. And there, beside me, is the stern fact, the sad self, unrelenting, identical, that I fled from. I seek the Vatican and the places. I affect to be intoxicated with sights and suggestions, but I am not intoxicated. My giant goes with me wherever I go. Your giant follows you wherever you go. I think the start and the end of this passage is the most powerful. Traveling is a fool's paradise. My giant goes with me wherever I go. If you can't be happy here, you won't be happy there. Now, this is not to say that you shouldn't try to improve your life. You shouldn't strive for things and you shouldn't have desires. This is not what that says at all, I believe. I think a shallow reading can lead one to not partake in travel and in adventure and in goals by reading that. And I'll be honest, I first gave this a shallow reading. But I think when you look into it deeper, it's more of a warning. It's a warning that if you are running away from Naples, or you're running away from Rome to get to Naples, when you wake up, the same feelings that you had in Rome or Naples are going to be with you. Wherever you go, there you are. So these things you should still strive for. You should still have goals. We are external beings in the world, so we still need to. We're in the world, as the Bible says, be in the world, but you do not have to be of the world. So have your goals, strive for them, but don't place your happiness and well-being in them, because you will find once you obtain them that you're not any better off. You're the same person you were before, and you're the same person who can't sit in a room alone for 15 minutes or spend a day without being quote unquote productive. So just remind yourself that when you're in a situation and you're dreaming of a different situation, I find myself often wanting something to happen, and then it happens, and then it's not as good as I thought. I thought if only this could happen, and then it happens, and then I'm in the same place. And whenever that happens to me, the Marcus Aurelius quote, "How trivial the things we want so passionately are," comes rushing to my head. Because it's truly so trivial. The things we believe that will bring us everlasting happiness, that will bring us everlasting joy, that will solve all our problems. And then finally, once this is good, I'll be good. But that's never the case. That's never the case. It's good to try to, unlock your potential, whatever that means for you, obtain your desires to a certain extent, get your goals. But you must understand that you will be the same person you were after. And if you're not okay with that person, it doesn't matter what you accomplish. It doesn't matter who tells you that you're great. You won't believe it, and you won't be able to be by yourself, which is a pity. It's a pity to not be able to be by oneself. And like I said in the beginning, many philosophers have tackled this problem, if you will. And Marcus Aurelius says, "You always wish you could travel to the sea, but don't kid yourself. You can return within at once, or you can always return within and then get the same calmness. He's telling himself, you don't need to go to your country abode by the sea. You just need to retreat inward. And he says, keep it brief, but that should be enough to sustain you and remind you that happiness is within. If you can't be happy here, you won't be happy there. But if you can be happy here, then you can do anything because you'll be happy anywhere. The only thing allowing or inhibiting your happiness is your mind. It's only ever your mind. Things are neither good or bad. Thinking makes them so. It isn't what happens to you that matters, it's how you react. The mind is the most powerful thing we have. And it gives and it takes happiness. And it's the only thing that gives and or takes it. And people who spend their lives looking outside themselves for happiness are unfortunately looking in the wrong spot. And I also really, talking about happiness in this nature, brings to mind a Friedrich Nietzsche quote that I really like, and that's, he who has a why can bear almost any how. And then people usually end the quote there. But I believe the latter part of that quote is, no man strives to be happy, only the Englishman does. And that's just as powerful as the former, because it claims that a why is more important than being happy. Having meaning, having a why, having a reason why you're going about your day-to-day life. If you have no why, it can be very hard to bear even the smallest how. It can be hard to bear even the smallest inconvenience if you don't have a why. And if you have a strong why, you can bear almost any how. You can do almost anything because your why is strengthening you. You have reason, you have meaning, you have a purpose to your actions. But when it goes south and you have no why, you have no reason for doing what you're doing, it's really hard to muster up that discipline, courage, willpower, bravery, place in the virtue that you need to overcome the moment. It can be very, very hard. So as of late, I've almost been thinking that it's more important to have a why than to be happy. There's a quote, I think it goes something like, the struggle is enough to fill a man's heart. Which is basically claiming if you have a why, you will be happy. But if you're happy, I don't know if you have a why. And I don't know, they might be interchangeable. They very well could be. You might need a why to be happy. And you might just need a why to be happy. I don't think you need happiness to have a why. Because there's many people who have a why. And that gives them happiness. But this Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, I want to stick to that topic for this video, about how so many people run away from themselves, but don't realize wherever you go, there you are. The problems that you have here, you will have there. They may be of a different nature, or no, never a different nature. They may be of a different degree, but never a different nature. The law of polarity, if you're familiar with the principles of Hermetic philosophy. Wherever you go, the problems will continue to follow you. The giant will be next to you when you wake up. That same unrelenting self will be there. And for a while, that kind of scared me, because if you're not comfortable with yourself, it can be scary to realize that wherever you go, that you're going to be there. But now that fact brings me deep joy, because I now love myself. And it's good to know that wherever I go, I'll be there. And I think that's true. That's true development right there. With being happy, that knowing that wherever you go, you'll be by your side. And when the day comes that you're not by your side, then um, that just it just means your end has come. So there's nothing to worry about, anyways. But yeah, I just wanted to urge and share that message about how the answer isn't running away. You know, when you turn your back and run from something, the thing attacking you has a way higher chance of defeating you because you have your back turned. But if you can face it head on and deal with it right then and there, your odds go up exponentially. You know, you never want to fight with your back turned. And the battle with oneself is not a fight to have while running away. Now, I want to make clear also, you can still travel. You know, you can still have goals. You can still not be happy with your job and want more for yourself. Feel like you can provide more to the world. But don't allow yourself to fall in the illusion that it's just miraculously going to be butterflies and rainbows when you're on the other side. That all your problems are because of this one thing that's outside of you. That's never the case. You know, I've often traveled a lot, and I've gone to places I've dreamed about, and I wasn't happy. I was actually the opposite. And that was, I believe, because I allowed myself to believe that that place was going to bring me happiness. I allowed myself to believe that that place was going to give me something. But then I got there, and, you know, as Ralph Waldo Emerson says, my giant went with me. My giant was right there by my side. And I didn't think it was going to be, but it was. And it's looking back now that I've had the best time at places when I was going there not to run away, not to not even to run away, but to just believe that that place was going to give me meaning. You know, it was going to be so naturally beautiful, and it was going to be such a good time that I would just have to be happy. I would just have to be in a good mood. And then all the times that I believed that were the times when I wasn't in a good mood and I didn't have a good time. And it's weird, but it's the times when I just went to a place and wasn't expecting anything from it. Or if I was, it wasn't something so powerful as giving me meaning. It was just, you know, expecting a decent time. Those are the times I had a really good time. But whenever I was down in the dumps and I went on a trip just to go on a trip, those were the worst trips I've ever had. Because I woke up, you know, wherever it may have been, and my giant was right there. The giant I thought I was going to leave. So I'll end the video with this. If you can't be happy here, you won't be happy there.